Hi everyone, it's Rita. I'm an Akashic record reader and accessor. I studied with Dr. Linda Howe, and who is first person to get her doctorate in Akashic studies. I've got a reading special going on through the weekend at $150 for 60 minutes, and then it goes up to a discounted rate of $175. When I do a reading, somebody was asking about that. I open up your records with a prayer. It's a really beautiful prayer, and it uses your full legal name, so it really hones in on you in this lifetime. And we ask questions about clarity stuff. I send you a prep sheet, and I go into my records before the reading, and I kind of ask what I need to know. And usually it's very insightful. I have a pretty high channel, so I'm kind of connected in that space all the time. You know, when they say, you talk to dead people. I can talk to dead people. But I don't make a vocation out of being a psychic, because I like to empower people. We all have our own choices, and I think sometimes when you see psychics and they say, oh, you're gonna meet the love of your life in 2 years, and then you just kind of don't focus on that, you know, and then I meet my love of my life in 2 years, right? And it happens because you're all prepped for it because you're thinking about it. So I think there's a lot of that, because we create our reality. I'm very present with that, how we create with the energy in the field. And when they say the feeling state and owning the feeling, it's all about owning the vibration. Dr. Bruce Lipton just did one of the Hermetic principles, which was on vibration. So you haven't checked his work out, he's on YouTube. And I interviewed him and Alex Lipton for the film I started called Revelation of You. And you can go to revelationofyou.com, put your email in, and I'll send you updates. So we're actually looking for a really connected, fun, enlightened production team. And I think it'll probably be in Europe or overseas somewhere, just because people overseas tend to be more awakened than the United States. And I don't know all the reasons for that, but getting back to the Akash, somebody's like, what happens in that reading? So you might I've had people ask about soul tribes and things like that, and sometimes that information comes forward, sometimes it doesn't. They'll ask about their spouse, and most of the time when they're asking about stuff around their relationship, they have had past lives with that person. And there's different reasons why they come into this lifetime with this person. And it could be just something as simple as supporting them, you know, with children or agreements and stuff that they had. So, but I'll give you another example. There was a woman that came in and she used to be an artist, and she used to really enjoy her life, and she got married, and it was really good for like the first year, and then it didn't get so, then it like went downhill, and then she's like wondering, do I get a divorce from this person, you know, this guy, you know, like. And so the message was, and so you have, as a reader, and listen, when you're in that space, you have to share what comes forward. And so what was coming forward was something about the shed. And so she said, yeah, I've got this shed in the back and a studio. She goes, I used to go in there and paint. And I don't paint anymore because we put a bunch of suitcases and stuff in there. And so she started thinking about it, and she was like, maybe I should take those suitcases out, and maybe I should go and start painting again. You know, so it was a thought she had while we were in the Akash. So she did. She called later, like a week later, and she said, I went into the studio, I took all our suitcases out and the stuff I had stored in there, and I started painting again. And I feel amazing, and my relationship is flourishing. You know, because we can't, there's a lot of reasons around that, right? Probably things that we can think of together and things that we don't know about. But those are the types of things that come through in the Akash. Now, if I didn't know anything about a storage shed, and I've learned now to whatever comes forward to just share it. And then that person can do what they wish with it. And sometimes it's sort of an esoteric sort of meaning. And then sometimes it could be really direct. Like, I did a reading with a friend years ago now, and they said something about a green drink. Sometimes they pull on my background and my information. And she was like, green drink, okay, you know. So I saw her a couple years later. We were on a riverboat cruise in Vietnam, and she was telling the guy, she had just gotten there, it was breakfast, and she goes, I want my green drink. And so I sat there and I was like, sometimes I don't remember what comes forward in the Akash, right? So when I do a reading, which is why we record them, we do Zoom them, and we do an audio recording. And so she got something on my shoe. It looks like gum. It's disgusting. Anyway, so I said to her, I said, you got a green? She goes, oh yeah, it's been great. She goes, I've lost like 20 pounds, you know, I feel amazing. I have it every morning. And so I asked her recently about it because she's near where I'm staying. And she sent me, it was basically a drink that kind of boosts your alkalinity. It wasn't a ton of different things. It was like kale and some different things. It didn't even really have any like medicinal herbs, which I love, like reishi and shilajit and chaga and these mushrooms, you know. It was just a simple green drink that I'm sure it increased her alkalinity in her body and reduced inflammation and all those good things, you know, that can happen in the body if you've got inflammation and stuff. And I'm not a doctor, so that's not medical advice, but those are the types of things that come forward. So what comes forward in a reading can be all over the place, but it's usually focused on you from a knowing of you, loving perspective, and whatever concern or questions you have. I mean, I've had friends that, or not friends, they're friends now, but like readings where they just want to know like what galaxy I came from. And I used to think, before I got on TikTok, I was like, no, I didn't really think that highly of TikTok, frankly. And then a friend of mine who I really respect, who's an amazing person, she was like, I get on TikTok and it's helped me heal all sorts of stuff, and I've bought stuff and I've gotten stuff for free, and she goes, I have to be careful because I'm on it for a couple hours. And I was like, really? You know, so I went ahead and opened a TikTok account a couple years ago now, and it's been amazing. Like the readings, like the first few people that came forward for readings, and it's usually mostly women, which is kind of interesting. And it kind of makes sense too. Like women have been, if they have families and stuff, most of the women I get are at a place where they're, you know, their career, they're laying their career down, or their kids are in college now or out of college, and they're ready for something different. And they're starting to think about, why did I come here? So you get advice too, like I may get guided to send you certain meditations or certain things to listen to that help you reflect on why you came here. Sometimes people ask about abundance, and you'll get messages around visualizations or carrying certain things in your pocket that are very expensive, you know, like that it makes you feel, you know, powerful and abundant, things like that. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. I tend not to get like, oh, you've got a past life where, you know, you killed a bunch of people and now you got to make amends. All of the things that we do are pretty much very empowering messages and very loving. And it comes from a place where you've been loved and known throughout all your lifetimes. All right, trust that helps. Smile citrine, like this crystal. Smile, S-M-I-L-E. Citrine, C-I-T-R-I-N-E, at protonmail.com. And right now I've got a special through the weekend at $150. They're normally $222 because I'm real busy with doing a lot of different things. And but I have them, so after this weekend they'll be $175. And we Zoom for an hour. You get the recording, the audio, and the video, and there's just there can be something very healing in that space, because I'm connected with your masters and teachers and loved ones, and that energy comes through me to you. And it can be very healing in that way. So I don't know all those different ways, but it's also reverse. It also makes me feel amazing too. So it's a win-win. And I love that. I love that about everything in my life. that it be win-win, and I trust you do as well. I'm gonna do it. I've got the Pooh shirt on. My parents' friends used to call me Pooh Bear when I was a baby because I looked like the bear Pooh. They didn't know, my mom said they didn't know my name. Like even when I got older, they were like, they would just reference Pooh. So anyway, I got Pooh on my shirt here, and I'm wearing some lapis and a piece of coral and a necklace with little shells and a amazing pearl. I got pearl earrings on. I was reminded about Edgar Cayce talking about pearls, and so I'll leave another short video about what he had said about pearls and kind of speculate and think about pearl energy. All right, much love to you all. Take care.